Hi students, in this video I'll be going through a couple of questions regarding factorization by grouping. Alright, so when you open your PDF document in Google Classroom, okay, what you want to do is you want to click open with and annotate with 𝐼𝐚𝐜𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐧. Alright, so this will allow you to then write your solutions inside the PDF document before submitting it through Google Classroom. Right, so what you want to do is you want to choose the drawing tool and then you can select the color of your pen. Okay, in this case, I'll just leave it as a black color. All right, so if you want to increase the size, you can just click here. Okay, then you have a bigger view of the space and a bigger space to write on. Okay, so let's take a look at the first question. So for the first question, we are asked to factorize fully 4ax minus 3ay. Okay, let me write down the question. So 4ax minus 3ay minus 8bx plus 6by. Right, so the first question that we want to ask ourselves is how do we know that we need to do factorization by grouping? Okay, one of the key things to take note of for a question regarding factorization by grouping is that there will usually be four terms. So over here you can see four separate terms: 4ax, negative 3ay, negative 8bx, and positive 6by. Okay, so when you have four terms, then it's likely that you will need to use factorization by grouping. Okay, the second thing that you want to look out for is that you will not be able to find a common factor between all the four terms. So what do I mean by this? So for example, if you look at the numbers, okay, in front of the coefficients, we have 4, 3, 8, and 6. Right, there's no common factor or highest common factor that you can remove from these four numbers. Okay, you can't take out 2 because 3, okay, is not divisible by 2, okay, to get a whole number. Okay, then you can't take out 3 because obviously 8 and 4 is not divisible by 3. All right. Okay, then you can't take out a because the last two terms over here do not have a inside. All right. So if you look across, you can't find any uh, common terms across all the four terms inside the question. So that is when you know that you need to use factorization by grouping. Okay, so why do they call it factorization by grouping? Is because now we are going to group the terms together. So in this case, we are going to group these two terms together, and then we are going to group these two terms together, and then we are going to factorize out a common factor from the two separate groups of terms. All right. Okay, so for example, okay, in this first question, okay, 4ax and negative 3ay, we can see that there is a common factor of a. So we can take out the a now. Okay. Okay, then usually what I want to like to do for factorization is I want to put the brackets first. Then ask myself one question. All right. So what times a? Okay, what times a will give me 4ax? Okay, so we can easily tell that it's going to be 4x, right? Okay. So we know that this term over here should be 4x. Okay, then ask ourselves the question again, right? But now for the second term. Right, what times a will give me negative 3ay? Right, so you should be able to tell that it's going to be 3y. So inside this bracket we have 4x minus 3y. So we have successfully factorized out the a already. Okay, let me write this bracket closer. Okay, so we have over here. Okay, then now let's focus on the second group of terms. Okay, so we have a 8 and 6. So we can actually take out a 2, right? And then we have a b. Right, so let's take out 2b and see what happens. Okay, so let's take out positive 2b. Okay, so ask yourself that same question. What times positive 2b, right, will give me negative 8bx? So you should be able to tell that it's negative 4x. Okay, then what times 6by, what times 2b will give me 6by? Okay, so you should be able to tell that it's positive 3y. Okay, so now we have factorized both groups already. Okay, but if you look at the terms inside the bracket, over here we have, on the left side, we have 4x minus 3y. Then on the right side, we have negative 4x plus 3y. So are they exactly the same now? Alright, so they are not the same, right? Okay, 4x minus 3y and negative 4x plus 3y is not the same. Okay, so this means that after this first step, right? Okay, if you have no common factors between the two groups, no further common factors, right? Then we are stuck already. We can't proceed on to the last step. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make some adjustment over here. Okay, so the adjustment that we should make is actually this. Okay, instead of factorizing out positive 2b, right, we will take out negative 2b instead. Okay, because if we take out negative 2b, okay, then over here inside becomes 4x, and over here becomes negative 3y. Okay, so we can always test it out. Okay, negative 2b times 4x. Okay, do we get back negative 8bx now? Yeah, we get that, right? Okay, so negative 2b times 4x, we get negative 8bx. And then negative 2b, okay, when we multiply by negative 3y, negative times negative give me positive, okay, positive 6by. So now we have done the factorization correctly, all right? Okay, so let me erase away all these things. Okay. Okay, so for factorization by grouping, the aim right after the first step, we always want to have something common, okay, after the first step, so that we can factorize one more time. So now we can take out this whole big group, 4x minus 3y term, right? Okay, then we put a bracket again. Okay, then we ask ourselves the same question. What times 4x minus 3y will give me a times 4x minus 3y. So quite obviously the answer is a, right? Okay, then what times, okay, 4x minus 3y will give me negative 2b 4x minus 3y. So it's quite evident that it's going to be a minus 2b, right? Okay, so this will be the final answer. 4x minus 3y, a minus 2b. All right, now I'm going to show you one method. Okay, I would say it's slightly like a, a cheat code lah. Okay, to do factorization by grouping questions. All right. Okay, so what we have is this one, right? Okay, this is the question. Okay, so the first part, okay, no issue. Okay, we factorize out the a, we get 4x minus 3y. Okay, so you see the aim of factorization by grouping, right? The objective is we need a common factor after. Okay, we need this to be the same as this, right? After the first step. Okay, so what I usually do is since I need something to be the same, right? I will just prepare it here first. Okay, 4x minus 3y. Okay, then I'll ask myself the reverse question. What times 4x will give me negative 8bx? So it should become quite obvious that this will be negative 2b. Right, then you must test out lah. Okay, you must test out. You must try this time this. Do you get positive 6by or not? So negative 2b times negative 3y get positive 6b. So we know that this is actually correct. Can? Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so since we need the common factor right after the first step, so I might as well write it down first and then I ask myself what should be the thing that is outside over here. All right. Okay, then now we'll just do the same thing. Factorize out this one and then we'll get a minus 2b. Right? So this will be the answer. Okay, 4x minus 3y, then a minus 2b. Right? Okay, so this will be the final answer. Okay, let's try one more question. Okay, so you may want to pause this video, try the question on your own first, and then you can review your answers. All right? Okay, so we have 3 plus 2m squared xy minus 2my minus 3mx. Right, so if you look at this question, right, okay, so the starting form they give us in this way. Okay, if I were to try to group these two together, you realize got nothing to factorize. Okay, these two can factorize out m. Okay, but then down here got nothing to factorize. Okay, so when you encounter a situation like this, what you need to do is you may need to rearrange the terms. Okay, so there's a 3 here. I can see that there's a 3 here. So what I want to do now is I want to group these two together. Okay, group these two. So at least I can factorize out the 3. Okay, then I'll group these two together. Okay, so I'll write this one. Okay, this one, the plus. Okay, I'll just put it behind here. Okay, so I'll get this. All right. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to factorize out common factor from here. So I'll take out a 3, put a bracket. Okay, ask myself the same question. What times 3 will give me 3? So answer is 1. So we know that there's a 1 here. But because some of you, sometimes students make the mistake of not writing anything here. They think there is 0, okay? Okay, then what times 3 will give me negative 3mx? Okay, so it's going to be negative mx. Okay. Okay, then now you can try the way that I taught you. Okay, since we need a common factor, right? Okay, after the first step to proceed, okay, so we just put it here first. Okay, then we ask ourselves the reverse question. 1 times what will give me negative 2my? Okay, so it's quite obvious it's going to be negative 2my. Okay, then you go and check. Okay, this times this. Negative 2my times negative mx, do you get positive 2m squared xy? We get right? So this shows that we have done it correctly already. Okay. Okay, so finally we have the common factor of 1 minus mx. Then we can finish up the question. Okay, by factorizing it out. And then from here we are left with the 3. From here we are left with the minus 2my. Right? So this would be the final answer. Right, so now what you should do is go and try the questions, okay, in the assignment that we give you, and then do some more practice, and you will be able to master how to do factorization by grouping. Right?